Good morning.
Morning.
For those of you who've just made it in out of the weather, welcome to the Corvette Corral on Saturday, hours before our race begins, and another exciting presentation is just about to take place. You are very fortunate today because not every day does this have the opportunity to have both Harlan Charles, product manager, and Jeff LaMarche, our plant manager, in the same room together. You get these two guys together, there's no telling what kind of cool stuff we're going to learn about. And I would ask all kinds of questions because here's your chance. Nowhere else, I can tell you this, I've been around. Nowhere else, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, take your choice. They do not have venues like this where you can come and talk to the people who build your car and talk to the people who plan it, design it, and make it happen. A round of applause for both Harlan and Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. Is it early? Is it officially early in Florida?
No.
No? It's not early?
Not early. Not early.
Maybe not. A little early.
But it's getting sunny. It's getting sunny.
It is. I see the sun coming out. Hopefully it rains soon.
It's done.
Can't hear you. Okay, good. How about that a little louder? If you saw me at Barrett Jackson last week, you saw I had the same problem. Trying to get near the microphone. Hey, good morning. I thought I would take a few minutes and just talk a little bit about, so what's new? You know, what's been going on in the plant, maybe since the last time we got together at Birthday Bash or the anniversary event, you know, at the museum last September. And there's a couple things I wanted to highlight. One, first off, is the Performance Build Center. So if you've seen some of our more recent press releases, we just recently announced we're getting back into the Build Your Own Engine program. And that's super exciting for us. So we've had our Performance Build Center in production now since April. We started first with the LS7 engine for the Camaro Z28. And then later in the summer, we began our line building LT4s for our Z06s that I'm sure you're all well aware of. And so far that's keeping us awful busy. We have a third assembly line set aside that was specifically planned for day one to be the Build Your Own Engine program line. So it's strictly it's a duplicate of our other two minus a little bit of test equipment, but basically all the stations and the setups are the same. So we made that announcement, and to start in March, we're actually going to go through a few dry runs in February, kind of just shake down the process between ourselves and the museum, who's going to be the National Corvette Museum will be the concierge. So as you check the box on your next Corvette order, that is who you're going to hear from as we set up the schedule to come into the plant. And you'll spend a full day with us, side by side with one of our engine builders. And of course, then your name's going to go on that plate. It's going to go on that engine. There's the ultimate collector's item that you'll have in your Corvette forever. Henry Younger's going to be our first one. Yay! He is the test case. He is the guinea pig. It'll go smoothly and perfectly first time, right? So
The test?
Yeah, the test case. You've never been called the test case before, probably haven't you? Many times.
Patient zero.
Patient zero, yes. Yeah, so Henry will be with us in a couple weeks. We're also in the plant with the help of Chevrolet. We're building a lounge for our Build Your Own Engine customers, a very nice, very high-class customer lounge where you have a place to go back to during the day to have your meals and during breaks and hang out and give us a really nice space to host events in the plant. So it was actually designed by a company that does the GM car show displays. So we're really looking forward to that. We're in construction for that now. It's not going to be in place for Henry's car, but you'll certainly see it later on. You repeat. That's right. We'll come back. So yeah, so that's kicking off, and that's a real big deal for us. So we're very, very excited about that. It's been kind of an interesting phenomenon that's happened with our engine builders is, as many of you probably know and have taken the buyer's tour, if you've had museum delivery and taken the buyer's tour and spent a couple days with us following your vehicle through the plant, now we have this new phenomenon is that now you have, particularly if you bought a Z07, you have one of our engines in the car, and as the buyer sees walking through the process, they're curious to know, well, who built my engine, and can I meet my engine builder? So we've had to come up with a process of how to get the two together in some sense of order. But it's been pretty neat. It's really great for our engine builders. They're having a ball with that the customer's actually seeking them out and want to say thank you and get to know, hey, here's the person who hand-built your engine start to finish. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that's been new in the plant, so a lot going on with Z06s. You know, we started the coupe back at the first week of November, coupe manual. So the Z06 is one of multiple mini launches within the overall program. So we started coupe manuals in November. Mid-December, we started convertibles. So we built the first convertible, and if you saw Barrett-Jackson last week, the car that we auctioned off, that was the first convertible Z06 that we built. It was built, like I say, mid-December. And then last week, we kicked off automatics, both coupes and convertibles. So we are now basically up and running. Everything's out, everything's running. We won't ship automatics yet for a few more weeks. So just like any new model, you know, we're in that period where we're holding for a couple weeks and just do our last checkouts and wait for any last minute software changes or anything like that before they go. But that's been really good for us because we're way ahead of where we thought we'd be. Right? Originally, we weren't going to have Z06s at all. We were talking about until later in the first quarter, and particularly the convertibles. We pulled the convertibles quite a bit, months ahead from our original planning, and now even the automatics. So that's been really good for us. We've been really excited about that. So now we're into normal days business. Z06 orders are still very, very strong, and of course now we have our guesses of what we think automatics will be for a model mix between manual and automatics. But now we'll see, you know, because we've had this pent-up demand of not being able to order an automatic. We'll really see what the market tells us that demand's going to be between an automatic and a manual. Haven't driven both, and right now I'm driving an automatic, Night Race Blue, a Z06. It's a great car. It's also a great responsibility to mash the throttle and unleash that beast at 650 horsepower in a moment's notice. So you gotta kind of watch what you're doing there. We're building roughly about 40% Z06s. So for us, we're still building 170 a day. We're on a daily overtime schedule, 5 days a week. The year looks real strong in that regard. And so for us, that's 68 Z06s a day. And the rest of that split up between base coupe and base convertible. Convertibles mix is a little bit down this year versus the first year. The market kind of talking to us, but we're going flat out. I really like how the cars come together. The car looks really good, and the plant's running real smooth. And, things are good in Corvette land and Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah, and I would just like to add what Jeff was saying. In December, we sold over 3,500 Corvettes. And you know, Corvette's been out a long time, about 62 years, and to set a record, that was the highest December sales for Corvette ever in the history of Corvette. So that was pretty cool. And as you know, it's been a great year. I think a lot of people have seen the Chevrolet ad, the most awarded car company, and it starts off that Laguna Blue Z06 convertible. As we won a lot of those awards ourselves, I helped Chevrolet. So that's very important that we're featured there. And we always say, you know, if you know who you are, if it's your Corvette's our favorite Chevrolet, but if you're only one, you should check out the other cars and trucks that we have. Everything's come quite a long way. Everything is world class. So, and there's a reason why we just won the Colorado just won the Truck of the Year. So we got a lot of good things going. I want to talk to you about, you know, we had our Z06 magazine test drives and rides. We did that about a week ago at Spring Mountain, Monfellow Spring Mountain Driving School near Las Vegas. Some of the numbers we've been touting, incredible performance of the new Z06. 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Quarter mile under 11 seconds. Unbelievable. And then the 1.2 Gs on the skid pad. That's a production car record as far as we know. Also can stop from 60 miles an hour in under 100 feet. And funny thing, Car and Driver did their test. If you read their test, there's in the notes that they retested it a couple times, recalibrated their equipment because they thought it was an error. They never saw numbers like that before. So they went, and sure enough, it was right. And just to put that in real terms, like if you're driving at 25 miles an hour, panic stop, 1 car length. So if you see the kid chasing the ball down make sure there's nobody tailgating you before you slam on the brakes. So it's incredible. It's with the Brembo carbon ceramic brakes as well. So we're very proud of the numbers. Also, Jim Merrow just set a 241, I think, at VIR, Virginia International Raceway, which is similar to, it's the same course that they use for the Lightning Lap, car and driver testing. And as far as we know, that's the best production time on a production car that we've seen at that track. So the Corvette, the new Z06 is incredibly track capable, and you're starting to see the real magazine tests come out, and all the reviews have really been stellar. We've even had some of the talking to one of the guys, I won't say what magazine was from, he goes, it's kind of disappointing. I wanted to write something bad if you could think a better story, but everything is so great with this car. Running out of superlatives. I think in the Motor Trend article it said basically you have to spend $1 million to have something that has better performance than what we're offering right now. So one of the things I've been getting a lot of questions about are the different aerodynamic packages and some recent information. We've never published this before, but we have started to talk about the downforce and lift of the different packages. So this car, this is kind of the ultimate Z06 right here. This is the Z07 package, what we call the level 3, the top level aerodynamics. The standard Z06 comes with a molded front splitter and a unique rear spoiler, and that's pretty neutral in lift and downforce. It's very neutral. It has a slight lift, about 150 miles an hour, which is actually less lift than the outgoing 01 did with its ground effect. So even the standard Z06 is an improvement in lift versus the 01. Then you can option what we call the carbon fiber ground effects package. That's that RPO CFZ, which is the carbon fiber splitter and the rockers, and has the larger rear wing. That gets you about 180 pounds of downforce at 150 miles an hour. So that's a huge increase. And again, we don't know of any other production car that has true downforce that we've tested, a GM. There's other, maybe, but we haven't tested one. And so that gets you at that level. Now this car, when you have the Z07 performance package, you get the ceramic brakes, you get the cup tires. It also adds, there's taller end plates on the front splitter, and the clear bridge or wicker bill in the back that's adjustable. That car has about 350 pounds of downforce. So that actually makes quite a big difference. And that is really a big part of what enables the lap times, the cornering speeds, the things that we're able to get in this car. We work closely, as you know, with Corvette Racing and what Corvette Racing wanted for the race car going forward. That was always the issue. The last previous generations was they had to add downforce to the car. We had a pretty good drag car. This time we added so much downforce to the car. Now we've got the racing team thinking about drag now, so we kind of flipped it around the other way. But that is really going to, as a big help to have that baked into the production car for the C7R going forward. A couple other things. We've been getting a lot of good publicity on the performance data recorder. Anybody know about the performance data recorder? Not everybody. Okay. What the performance data recorder is, we are the first car in the industry to offer this technology built into the car at the factory. So it's basically your own instant replay system. You have a camera video camera, a microphone, and data logging that can keep track of all the key data that the car's giving you. And it will record your driving, and there's a camera right out the windshield, so it will record that. It also record your speed, your G-forces, accelerator, braking, RPM, gear that you're in. There's about 30 different channels of data that it can record. So you have a bunch of choices what you want to do. You can, if you're a track enthusiast, this is a great way to record your track times, lap times, as well as see what you're going to track, and then you can compare with others to see where you gained time, where you lost time. You can also use it just to record fun experiences you have driving on the road, post on YouTube or Corvette Forum or Facebook, whatever you want. Fun roads like Pacific Coast Highway or A1A or Tail of the Dragon or things like that as another use for it. You can also use what we call the valet mode, which has a 4-digit code. And of course, nobody wants the valet park their Corvette, but we have talked to people. Sometimes you get in a situation, nice restaurants, things like that. There's no choice. This is a way that you can protect your car. You put the code in, it locks all the compartments, it shuts down the entertainment system, and then we'll record the video and the speeds and the data of whoever is using it when you're not around, so you have a record of what happened in case some shenanigans went on. We actually, that was actually on Good Morning America and a lot of the news outlets. I was probably the first person that caught somebody playing around in the parking garage with their car. And so once people start to learn that about Corvette, hopefully they'll drive it more carefully. So that's a great feature. We also have, getting back to there's a performance timing mode that'll give you, like, if you go to the drag strip, give you quarter-mile times, 0 to 60 times. There's a mode that does that. And then also for the track usage, if you just have to set the start-finish line one time, and then it'll record through GPS. It makes a map of the track for you. And there's a program that's included. If you get the system, you can download it for free from Corvette.com or Cosworth.com, who's our partner. And it's called Cosworth Toolbox. And you can really have, this is the first time where, as Corvette owners, you can have really professional level types of tools to analyze your driving. You can see the track map and plot two different cars and see where they gain time, lost time. You get graphs of G-forces or accelerator, to tell you your tire pressures and temperatures while you were driving, oil temperatures, oil pressures, all kinds of data. It's pretty user-friendly to use. It works on any Windows-based device, and we're working on one for the future that'll work on Apple as well. But the journalist, when we showed it to them, they thought this was, in the past you'd really have to be part of a professional race team or buy very expensive data equipment to get something like this. And that's all included with the navigation option now on any 2015 Corvette. And it's really exciting to have something that is an industry first. We'll see if there's copycats out there later, but we were first. So, and then, just like I just said, we got the full lineup now as we proceed Corvette. The Stingray Coupe and Convertible, Z06 Coupe and Convertible, both 7-speed manual, 8-speed paddle shift, automatic, and although there's nothing unveiled now at the auto show. I don't know what we're going to do now. I guess we got to think of something else. But anyway, I think we could open up for questions. You guys got anything in your mind? Question on Wi-Fi? Oh, on the OnStar, OnStar has, OnStar now comes with the 4G LTE Wi-Fi system, and you get several, I forget what it is, you get a block of time for minutes for free, like with the car, and you're saying, how do you pay for that going forward? I think through OnStar.
I think there's also a connection to your dealer. If you have AT&T, you have that AT&T, you can actually link your home AT&T plan to your Wi-Fi plan.
Yeah, one thing you could do if you have that system, if you're anxious time with your performance data recorder, you could take the card out, put it in a tablet or a laptop, and post it online through your Wi-Fi in the car. Yes, backup camera. We have backup camera standard on all Corvettes now. The vents on the quarters? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that was really something we had on the previous race car, and we developed it. The driver's side cools the transmission, and the passenger side cools the differential. So that's for cooling. They bring air to the coolers. It's a rear transmission, rear differential. And on the Z06 version, you notice we brought up the wing a little higher and grab more air into there than the Stingray version. Jake say notice on the convertible, people will say, well then what do you do on the convertible? You don't have those. Well, the convertible, we couldn't put them there because that's where all your top mechanism and tonneau is. So we put them underneath in the wheelhouse area. So we still get the cooling function, although the coupe is a little more efficient having it up there. Question is on the cooling for the new 8-speed, especially the Z06. Yeah, we had to do a lot of development for that transmission to handle the performance levels of the Corvette Z06. So, and that was actually one of the reasons why we did the manual first and the Z06 later, because we were working on all the extra cooling and track testing to make sure that was robust to be used. So yeah, so it does have more capability than the 6-speed that it replaces.
There's another one in the front. There's a second cooler in the front.
Talk a little about the oil filming issue, the recall for the side oilers for 500 miles. What prompted it? What real problem?
Yeah, we had. We're talking about some oil. We've noticed that with some of the dry sump, mostly with cars with the dry sump. So we've added into the your free maintenance. You get 2 years maintenance. We've added a 500-mile oil change. We found that on cars that we've done that helps the oil system in the car better. And
it had to do with the original engine. There's some lubricants and some oils inside the engine as it was built that have a tendency to foam. And so that engine oil would have a tendency to foam. It could push back out through the oil cleaner. And so some customers might see drips out of the oil cleaner. So the 500 mile really just gets in a fresh oil change and takes away the tendency, flushes it out. The question is, how long will the C7 last? You know, we've seen multiple years for each generation, so how long do we think we might see a C7?
Well, that's a very good question. I wish I knew the answer, because when the C6 came out, we got that question. You know, remember the 6th generation car came out in 2005, and I thought, we'll probably see a C7 around 2011. So we know what happened. So we really don't know. The Corvette, as you know, Corvette history is filled with generations that went longer than anybody had planned. Even back to the 67 car was an extra year. That everybody loves the 67 Stingray. The 68 was supposed to come out a year earlier. We know the 4th generation went a long time. The 6th generation went 9 years. So we always start working on thinking about the next one. This is why we're doing the current one, but I can't really give you a timetable. that would be accurate, that you come back and say you were wrong.
One that we see in the blogs tomorrow.
Harlan, update him on the colors. How the colors going? It was like,
Oh, Jake was asking about the colors. Right now, so far for 2015, number one color is Arctic White, followed by Torch Red, then Black, then Shark Gray, and I think then Laguna Blue would be your top 5. So it is fun. We talk about the Torch Red and the Arctic White being kind of unique to Corvette. That's colors. So Laguna Blue is unique, but it's neat. It's nice to see the special. Really, those are really kind of your core sports car colors. When you think about black and white and bright red and gray. So it's all going good though. I think we have a good palette this year, and as you know, the Shark Gray was new this year. We also have we've got out the Daytona Sunrise Orange. Starting to see a few of those out there. People are enjoying that color as well. There's one on display. Thank you.
Can you talk about the mid-engine
I can tell you there's a mid-engine Corvette that's going to be racing today and hopefully defend its crown as United Sports Car, the Daytona prototype champs. So it exists and it's here right now.
That would be a challenge.
That would be. I don't think there's enough leg room in that car for most people.
We built one a day, maybe. 170 a day, I'm not so sure.
all the Corvettes, rev limit, during the break-in period, I saw something about that.
Oh, it's a change. It's not really rev limit. It's the tach. We change. One of the neat things about having a the electronics in the car now, with a tachometer, you can change the appearance of it so that what we do when the car is new, it has a different red line, for the first 500 miles or so. Or if it's cold, even after that, when it's cold, the red line is lower. Is what we recommend, but it doesn't physically limit the revs of the car, but it's what we're recommending for to take the car and oscillate. Oh, well, thanks. For those who didn't hear, he was telling us what a great job we did.
So take it out with.
So we'll take as many of those as we can get.
Last year, briefly, you talked about LT4s would not all be built at your plant. Has that been the case, or are we building all LT4s?
I know that. So the question is, are all LT4s built in Bowling Green? Yeah, the answer is no. We're building, like I say, for right now, ours are basically going in on the Z07s, and it's really our capacity. We can build about 26 a day. We build 42 engines a day in 10 hours. And that's combined between LS7s and LT4s. I mean, we could flip back and forth, but that's really our capacity, 42 a day. So out of that, there's more. So when I say we build 68 Z06s a day, you kind of see that we're limited in how many can come out of Bowling Green.
An owner would only know by looking for the tag would not be there if it was
Right.
built in New York.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's how the only you know for sure is to see it. So basically, I think we're still been able to so far service all the Z07s. We've been able to build, and then of course if anybody does the build experience, we're going to get it.
Yeah, so to do the build experience, you don't have to get the Z07, but you'll be building your engine right there.
Way in the back.
Was the Z06 CR1 profitable enough to rationalize the C7 CR1?
C701.
Well, our cars are, we like